This webinar is now being recorded. I just wanted to give everyone a few minutes to jump on because we have a few people registered for this. So I wanted to make sure that we have everyone on. So this webinar is being recorded. If there's any questions or you need to review, we can share the link as well as the slides. So I will send out a copy of the slide deck that you're looking at, as well as a recording of this entire presentation for you to review. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome. My name is Monica Munoz. I am an instructional designer with the online campus. And today we're going to go over preparing your online course. Okay, so this is just some tips and tricks that over the years we have tried to put together in order to assist faculty with preparing to teach online. Okay, so this includes some best practices as well as a few demos on how to do some getting started activities. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to utilize the chat, or you can unmute yourself and just ask me a question. I have another screen, so I should be able to see if you raise your hand or if you need anything, but please feel free to just interrupt me if I'm going too fast or if you need to review anything that you just saw. Okay, I just want to note that there are captions for this. I will make sure to keep those up when I am in demo mode, just so that y'all can have an alternative way of understanding me, because sometimes I speak a little quickly. So I'm going to try to keep it slow and make sure that we're all able to follow along, because this webinar does include a lot of information, okay? And so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, please let me know. Oops, sorry. Okay, so just a little bit of an agenda to see what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about creating a Blackboard tour, right, in your course. And I'm also going to give you a Blackboard tour, right? I'm going to just show you a basic classic course and all the features that you have inside of that and options for your students, okay? I'm also going to show you how to do a course copy, right? A lot of you might have content in another course. Maybe you have a master course or you've taught a course before. So we're just going to go over quickly how to copy that content if you want to start with content that's in another course, okay? Then we're going to talk a little bit about adding and organizing content, right? How to upload your syllabus, different ways to organize your course. Maybe you want to use course folders for the weeks, or maybe you group your course by topics like modules. We're going to talk a little bit about adding some student engagement features, right? How do we make sure that our students are actively learning? How do we make sure that they are in a course that they're able to engage with, right? That's not just, you know, here's a reading, here's a video, here's how we do the assessments, right? And then I'm going to end with a few additional resources that the online campus has put together that might help you with creating things like your syllabi or different types of engagement activities, okay? So the first thing I want to begin with is course copying, right? If there's a place somewhere in Blackboard, or if maybe if you taught at a different university inside of Blackboard, we can copy those course contents into the template that we have in our course, okay? So I'm going to click here because this is a live link, and again, I will be sending these slides out. So this link shows you exactly how to perform a course copy. Okay, so if you need directions or you want to review any of this, you can just come over here and there's an ultra and a classic version. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down just to the classic version, and here are the directions for copying a class in a classic course. Okay, is anyone using Ultra? I don't believe so. I think most of us are in a classic course, right? Okay, right. Michelle's like, I don't know. Good point, good point. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, I'm gonna go back for a second, and I'm going to go ahead through this, and then I will go ahead and back to the course copy, okay? So let's pause for a second. Sorry, let me just get through this starting this PowerPoint. I apologize. So consider adding a start here section, right? When we're talking about building an online course, this is something that a lot of us do face-to-face already. When our students come into our classroom, we welcome them, we pull up the syllabus, and we really start to acclimate them to this community that we're trying to build in this classroom, okay? And so we want to do the same thing online, but that's going to look a little different, right? So adding a Start Here section is something that's very important to be able to guide the students as to where to begin, right? So that's helpful because the students get in the course and they know exactly where to click first, right? We're going to provide them with tips for getting started. Things like, please read the syllabus. Maybe you want to do a quick course tour video. Okay, maybe you want to share your screen and show the students your Blackboard course and say, here are the assignments, here are the announcements, here's where we go to join the Zoom meeting, right? So giving a tour of your course can really help our students make sure that they know how to get started and where to go first, okay? The other important part about adding a Start Here or a welcome message to the student is making sure that you include next steps, right? What am I supposed to do next? Where do I click after I finish reading the Start Here section, right? So a very detailed to-do list for the students really helps them get started. Now I'm talking about all of this, but what does this look like, right? We have a great course inside of Blackboard that is an exemplary course. And what that means is that faculty who have gotten Quality Matters certified, and Quality Matters is a nationally recognized standard for online courses. Those folks, we've got about 150 classes that are QM certified, and those folks have allowed us to pull examples from their course. And so if I click here, this is an example of what a Start Here message would look like, okay? So you can see that she's got welcome, start here. And it's nice because it welcomes the student to the class. She has an introduction video linked right here. And then as you go through this, you can see that this is her sharing her philosophy of teaching. It also shows the requirements for this course, which is very helpful for students. So they're able to see that they definitely need a laptop, they need internet access, they need to purchase their textbook, right? And so this just acclimates them to the new environment that they're in and the way that they need to start to view a class. They need to check their email. They need to pay attention to announcements, right? And then Heather's got a really great option here. So instead of doing a course tour video, you can copy and paste this. You can take this from her and from us. This is also, I can send this out. And what this is it gives a navigation of her course and what is in each area. So I can see the announcements. This is where you will find updates for the class. I can see the discussion board is where I will find assignments that require interacting with others. So something as simple as a map or a legend of the course can really help the students, and also it helps cut down on the emails that you will receive, right? Because you don't necessarily have to respond and say, the syllabus is under the syllabus section. If this is already in the Start Here, the students will know exactly what each link in your course will take them to, okay? And then again, the most important part is what's next. Okay, so once you've reviewed everything in this folder, go to the assignment section and start to complete the assignments for week 1. So it seems pretty, something that we all should be doing, but when I first started teaching online, I didn't think about this. I didn't think from the student's perspective of, oh, they really do need guided directions as to what to do in my course and how to navigate it. So again, this is just an example, right? We have a lot of examples. This was one that I really enjoyed because it's very straight to the point and it doesn't require a lot of linking or anything like that, okay? And if you're interested in this, like I said, I can send this to all of you because the Recreation 610 professor, Heather Vilhauer, has allowed us to use this and she's okay with us sharing this content, okay? So I just wanted to give you an idea as to what it looks like to create a Start Here section in your course, okay? And I will show you how to do this inside of Blackboard as well. So now that we've thought about the left-hand navigation and making sure we've got that Start Here section, now we are able to think about how we are going to organize the course, okay? How do we want the layout of our course to look? And so Quality Matters suggests that this should be consistent, it should be logical, it should be efficient, and simple, right? So what this image is showing you is to avoid multiple drill downs. All that means is avoid the amount of time students need to click to get into each of these items, okay? So on the left-hand side, you can see that this is one way that you could do it. Module 1, and then maybe a folder for readings, right? But now we're getting a little into lessons, and then I have to click. So that is now 4 clicks just to get to the content that I need, okay? So this left-hand side image is just showing you the different ways you can set this up. But in order to make this easier for the student, the right-hand side image here shows a way to condense the amount of clicks the students have to get to, okay? So all that means is I would create, instead of creating 3 folders, now I've only created 2. I've got a folder that's module 1, and when I open that, I can see a folder that says readings. And then when I open my readings, I can see all of the different articles and websites I'd like my students to read, okay? So again, thinking in terms of organizing content and making it as simplistic as possible for the student. This also helps so the student doesn't get so far removed that they don't know what to do next, right? Some students may not be familiar with Blackboard. They may be new to our university. And so remembering to click back, right, to get back to that module folder where maybe the instructions are, that's where you might lose a few students, okay? So on the right-hand side, this is just an example of ways to organize your content in a way that allows students to make it a little more intuitive for them, okay? And again, I'm gonna show you an example of this and how to create this in your course. I just want to briefly show you that there is a list of links. So everything I show you today, you will be able to go back. There are how-to documents, and there's even a video for how to create these student engagement tools, right? Go React is a great assignment because it allows for video, okay? If you need your students to create a video, Go React is your tool, okay? Maybe you want them to create a presentation. Maybe they need to do a group presentation for the final project. Go React supports all of that. It also allows you to create a video. So if you're interested in creating a lecture video, you can upload the video using Go React, and then students are able to comment on your video. And what's great about that is students, when they comment, it timestamps the comment into the video, okay? So it's a really great tool. We also have an institutional account for Padlet. Padlet is an engagement activity. It is something that you can use to create a bunch of different learning objects, but what I usually use it for is in place of a discussion board. Okay, Padlet is just another example of a collaborative space that students can add text, they can add video, they can add images. So Padlet's a really great tool to maybe have an introduce yourself, right? An area where students can get to know each other. We're also going to go over discussion boards, right? Just in Blackboard. The reason that I think that discussion boards are so powerful are because they are linked inside of your grade center. So I can make graded discussion boards that I can grade, and then the students can see that grade inside of Blackboard. So discussion boards are really great because I can use that for peer review, or I can use that for the students to share their projects with each other, okay? Wikis, pretty great. Wikis are a collaborative space, again, really great for group projects because it's a space, it's almost like a Google Doc, but it's embedded inside of Blackboard. And they're able to add images and text and website links and create almost a mini website inside of Blackboard, okay? And then the last thing I'm gonna go over is groups. Groups are really great because groups you can add group projects to, okay? And what that means, the most powerful part of groups is that you can grade a group project and everyone in the group gets the same grade. Okay, only one person from the group has to upload the assignment, and then you can grade the entire group at one time. Okay, you're definitely able to edit in case you need to do that, but group assignments are really great to cut down on some of the onus of you grading. Okay, Benjamin, great question. What is the difference between recording Zoom and GoReact? Great question. So Zoom is a great tool. If you are recording a lecture or maybe an introduction video for yourself, great idea, because everything you record inside of Zoom automatically gets shared inside of a tool called Panopto inside of Blackboard. Okay, so Zoom is a great way to share content with your students. GoReact is going to allow students to create the assignment, and it's all within Blackboard. And those assignments are able to be graded. So if you're trying to create content, Zoom is a great way to go. But if you want your students to create content, that's where you would use GoReact, is for them to be able to create the videos. Michelle, when would we use Padlet or Wiki? Great example. So Padlet is going to be something that you would use if you want your students to share content with each other, okay? It's a really great feature, and I'll go ahead and show that to you briefly, just to be able to share content with each other. And it's more so for collaborative space, so that the students get learner-to-learner engagement, similar to Blackboard discussions. If you're holding synchronous sessions, Padlet might not be necessary because you have that community that you're creating where your students are talking to each other. But if you're doing asynchronous, which means we're not meeting on Zoom every week, right? They're just going into Blackboard and kind of interacting. That's where Padlet can kind of create more of an engagement and active learning space, right? And the same with Wikis. Wikis and Padlets both help encourage active learning and support collaborative learning, which is like group work, okay? So, and then just quickly, this last slide is going to be resources, okay? Before I jump into the tools, I just want to show you quickly, we have a suggested syllabus language document, okay? This document, you can come in here and copy and paste anything from this document into your syllabus, okay, or your course. The reason I wanted to show this, oops, sorry y'all, one second. Okay, so the reason that I wanted to show this document is because it's very helpful for the students to know which technology they need. And that's not something that you need to worry about, right? You don't know if they need a webcam or all that good stuff. So you can come in here, and if you're going to use Zoom in your class, if you click on this link, you can copy and paste this entire section into your syllabi, okay? And then the students will know that they need pretty reliable internet. They're going to need a webcam, right? And this also gives them links to the Zoom website, okay, if they have questions about technology. Same with GoReact. This is a little option to add to your GoReact class so that students know which tools they're using. So please feel free to utilize this, this suggested syllabus components, okay? So I just want to show that quickly. So now what I want to do is I want to go into a Blackboard course so that you can see, I'm so sorry, I don't have the template up, so that you can see exactly what is listed inside of your courses, okay? So on the left-hand side, you can see that there will be a template, okay, inside of everyone's course. This looks a little different because I've changed some things, but you can see that there is an announcement section in your course, okay? When I click on announcements, this is an area that I can use to send my students information, okay? It's just like email. Under announcements, I can click create announcement. And I can type a message to my students. I can copy and paste some information in here, maybe about the textbook, maybe about how to get started. And when I scroll down, there's an option to send a copy of this announcement immediately. Okay, what this does is this creates something that always stays in my Blackboard class, and it also sends a copy of this directly to the student's email. Okay, so this is really helpful with sharing content for your student, because when I click submit, I know email was successfully sent to all my course users. Okay, and then I can see that that announcement also stays in my announcements tab for the entire semester. So now if students come in and they don't click on announcements, at least they got a copy in their email, right? And it's also listed here. So for students who want to review, they can come to the announcements tab and they will be able to see everything that's posted throughout the entire semester. Okay. Under course materials, this is an area that you can choose to use. You can also rename this, right? If you don't like the word course materials, there's a little arrow next to that. And if I click on the down arrow that's next to course materials, I can rename this link. Okay, so maybe I want to say weekly folders, or however you want to kind of do that. And then when I click on the green check mark, it saves it. And I'm able to rename, and that goes for anything in the course, okay? Sorry, Michelle, I just saw it. If I had put an announcement before students are actually enrolled, will they auto receive the announcements when they do? Great question. No. Unfortunately, if you post the announcement before the students are enrolled, those students that get enrolled after won't get the email. However, they will always see the announcements listed under the announcements tab. Okay, so that's the trade-off there. Great question. So the down arrow next to each of these options, you can rename, you can hide it from the student. Maybe you're not ready to have the students see the exam section, or maybe you don't want them to access the discussion board yet. You can simply click on hide link, and I can see that next to that folder, there is now an X or a line through it, so I know my students cannot see that area, okay? And then using that same down arrow, I can show the link when I'm ready, or I can simply delete the option completely. Okay, if you don't like something in the left-hand menu, you can delete it. The only thing we ask you not to delete are these 4 folders on the left-hand side. Okay, this is a part of our template that has been approved by the Academic Senate. And so these are really helpful because if you click under University Policies, you'll be able to see all of the policies listed: copyright, acceptable use, Title IX, emergency. So all of this information that you usually put in your syllabus, you can now tell the student, please make sure to click on the University Policy tab to view all of the policies that this course will adhere to, okay? The course evaluation folder, this is very powerful. This is where the students come in and will take their end of the course survey. Okay, it automatically opens a few days before the end of the class, and the students receive an email from course evaluations that reminds them to take that survey. There's also a student support services tab. This is really important as well because it also offers support for our students when it comes to technology, if they need assistive technology services, and it also provides counseling support. Okay, so this tab is very important for our student supports. And then our last tab on the left is hints and technical info. Okay, so if a student gets stuck, they can always come in here and get some information about Blackboard help, about the common technical requirements for the class. Again, you all don't need to be technology, gurus. You can just send the students to Blackboard help. Okay, and there's some information there. So on the left-hand side menu, as I said, you'll all see that there is a template that's already added, okay? But let's say that you want to add another area. You can do that. This entire menu is able to be edited by you, and it's very hard to see. Let me try to zoom in a little. Okay, so at the top, there are 4 links across the top here. If I roll my mouse over the plus sign with the circle, this is where I can add content. Okay, so if I wanted to add a content area, all that means is I'm going to add a space to be able to add content for my students, right? I can add assessments, tools, anything. So if I add a content area, maybe I want to link directly to my week. So I could say week 1 content. And then I've got an option here where if I click on this, it's now available to users, okay? And I click submit, and it goes to the bottom. I can see right here, here is my new content area, and it's blank. So in a content area, I can build content, I can add an assessment, I can add tools, that long list of tools we were talking about. And then partner content would be if I was using a publisher, a textbook publisher, okay? So now that I've added a content area to the left, I want to move that. I don't want it at the very bottom, I want it at the top. So to move items within the content menu, you can roll your mouse to the left. And now I see 4 arrows, right? It's a little crosshatch and I can see 4 different arrows. And if I click and hold, I can now move this up and down, okay? I personally dislike moving things that way because for some reason my mouse doesn't work or it gets a little wonky. So if you don't like that option, you can use the up and down arrows right next to where I added my content. Now I can reorganize my content. The up and down arrow, if I click here, now I can see a list of everything that is in my navigation menu. And if I want to, I can highlight one, and using the up arrow, I can move it up or I can move it down. And this is how I can reorder things inside of my menu, okay? Once I'm happy with the way this looks, I can click the submit button and it tells me my items have been reordered, okay? So again, I've added content here and I've reorganized it here, okay? This button is just a refresh button. If for some reason your changes aren't being seen, you can click the refresh and it will refresh the page, okay? Your last option here across the top, I'll click on the folder icon and this opens up an entire folder of everything that is in the class, okay, on the left-hand side. So it's just a pop-out menu pretty much. Any questions about the left-hand navigation menu and editing anything over there?
Yes, David has a question. I wanted to go back to the announcements tab. Sometimes I like to sign on my videos, and there may be captions, or I may add a voiceover, and then is that something I could post under announcements?
Great question, David. I'm going to go back to announcements. When you click create announcement, what you'll do is if you've uploaded the video to YouTube, then what you'll do is click on the mashups button, mashups, YouTube video, okay? If I click here, I am able to add any YouTube video I'd like. So I could search whatever the title of your video is, okay? And then you can find your video, maybe give it a specific name. And when you click on the select button right here of the video that you'd like to add, okay, you can scroll down and just hit this black submit button. And now the video is embedded right here, okay?
Okay. That's great. That's very helpful. The second question I have, if I'm using QuickTime, is that possible to upload, or does it have to be through YouTube?
Right, it has to be through YouTube. We can't add the video raw file here. Good point, good point. Sorry.
Okay.
You can always
That's
email
fine.
me the videos and I will upload for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Great question. Great question. Okay. So that's the left-hand navigation menu. Before I show you how to add content, I just want to show you across the top over to the very right-hand side, there's a few options over here, okay? This lock icon is how you can make your course available and unavailable to students, okay? Right now, all courses are available to students. You can, if I click this lock, I can now see that it is unavailable, okay? It's locked to my students, no one can see it. If I click on the lock again and it's open, I know that my students are able to see my course, okay? The one thing I always forget, you want to make sure that edit mode is enabled, it's on. If I click off, you'll notice I can't edit anything. So sometimes I forget and I'll come in and go, why can't I add anything? It's because I have to make sure that this is always on, okay, the green light. Now I know I can add content to my course. I just wanted to show you those two quick things. Okay, so I'm gonna switch courses. So again, I told you we have the Start Here section, so I can send this to you if anyone's interested. But let's say that I wanted to use my syllabus section, okay? When you go into the syllabus area, you will see that there is an option in here for, sorry, don't look at mine, everyone, but there is an area where you can upload your syllabus, okay? So to do that, you can, maybe you want to use this area as your Start Here section. So what I'll do is I'll click on this and rename my link, and I'm going to call this Start Here -syllabus, right? I'll just use the content area that's there and rename it. And now I know my students are going to click here first when they come into the course, okay? And now I want to add my syllabus. I want to make sure my students can see my syllabus. So to do that, I can click on Build Content, and I'm going to choose an item. Okay, an item allows you to annotate and give some notes to the student. A file is going to show up as just a link. So it means they'll click on the link and the option will download. Okay, that's the only difference between an item and a file. An item, I can add some text. A file is just going to display a file link. Okay, so I choose item just because I like to give my students some guidance when it comes to what they're looking at, right? So I can title this Syllabus. Oopsie. Syllabus. Okay, and I can say, please make sure okay. And when I scroll down, I am able to attach content. If you would like to copy and paste your syllabus directly into this box, you can do that. Please note that if you're copying from Word, some of the formatting might be a little different, okay? So if you want, you can just add the content as a PDF file so that my students can see what I've written and they also see the link to my syllabus, okay? So if I click Browse My Computer, this is gonna allow me to grab anything that I have downloaded or on my desktop, okay? Anything in my course, I can come here. So I can add my syllabus here and it shows up right underneath. And the best part is I can change the title, right? So if I want to, I can edit this. I can say Fall 2020 Syllabus, okay? I can also browse my cloud storage. So for any of you that use Google Drive, if you click cloud storage, this is going to link directly to my Cal State East Bay Google Drive, okay? So this is another quick and easy way to link anything you have in your Google Drive to your class, okay? So then I can come in here and I can say, okay, I want this document, and I'll click select. And now I can see this was added and I can change my link title as well, okay? So just two different ways to do that, from your computer device or from your cloud storage, which will connect to your Google Drive, okay? And if you have a personal account you use, you can connect that as well. It doesn't have to be your Cal State East Bay. And then when you scroll down, there's some options here. Permit users to view content. I want to make sure that that's a yes so that they can see it. And then track number of views. I can turn that on and Blackboard's going to give me a few analytics as to how many views I have seen. It's not going to show me who has seen it and how long they were there, but it will show me how many students have viewed that document, okay? And then my last option here is if you've got select dates and time, it will open automatically at this time, and then the link will disappear automatically at this time. Okay, so if this is my syllabus, maybe I don't want to display until, I just want it open. I can display after a certain time, and then on that day and time, this automatically will open to my students. Okay, Amber, if you have both a student email and a staff email, will it link to your staff automatically? Amber, great question. You can choose. It won't automatically link. You'll have to click allow. And so you can choose which one you want it to link to. Great question. Where do you find the tracking statistics? Great question, Benjamin. Okay, so I'm going to click submit. Okay, and then let me see if it's going to show up. I don't think it's going to work. Maybe I can just show you where that is though. Okay, so let's go back up. So on the left-hand side, I have some options, okay? So underneath course management, this entire section is just for faculty. So everything you see underneath course management will be only visible to you, okay? One of my options is course tools. And I can come down here and there's a lot of options in here, okay? One of my options should be, I think it's goal performance. No, it's not goal. I'm so sorry, everyone. Forgive me. I completely am blanking. I apologize. So course tools is a very great feature. You can come here to see a lot of your options. But what Benjamin was asking for was the statistics tracking. How do I see how many people have viewed things? Okay. So on the left-hand side, there's an evaluation option. There's a course report where you can come in and you can see all of the activity in the course, the coverage report, the overall user of one user to see what one student has done. Maybe they're falling behind. And then you've got things like activity in the forums, activity in groups. So these are all reports that you can run for your class specifically, okay? So again, that was evaluation course reports. Your other option is performance dashboard. And if I come in here, this is very interesting because I can see all of my students and I can review the days since they last came in. I can see their discussion boards. I can view grades, right? I can click on this specifically and it's going to show me Cheryl's table of attributes specifically for her, which takes me to the grade center. And then the last option is the retention center, okay? Oopsie. Sorry, let me try to refresh that. Okay, so the retention center gives me a very good look at all of my students and who has missed a deadline, who's got some activity alerts, right? And then I'm able to see a very in-depth view as to all of the options inside of the course. So the journals, the discussion board. I can post an announcement, right? So this is going to give you a nice dashboard and it's going to show your at-risk students, students who did not contribute, and students who have not logged in, okay? So this is a little bit more advanced because it's the analytics of the course. Let me quickly, sorry y'all, statistics tracking. I'm not sure why I'm blanking so much on where this is inside of the course. Right. And then how do I see? We'll also appear underneath the name. Yes, okay. Sorry, everyone. I apologize. Thank you for bearing with me. Can't keep up with all the technology. Okay, so to view the statistics tracking, sorry about that, Benjamin, what you'll do is it says enabled statistics tracking, okay, on the item itself. So on the item, there's a down arrow, and there's an option that says view statistics report, okay? That is where you'll go in and you'll be able to run the statistics report for this specific item. So I'll click content usage specifics, that little down arrow, and I'll click run. Takes a minute. And what it's doing is it will run a report specifically on the amount of views for this document itself, okay? So you'll just click the down arrow and click view statistics report to see who has viewed this option. I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay. And so now it says select the format, PDF. You could do an Excel file if you'd like. And then you can choose the start and end date. So when do you want to view the content? And then you can, if you'd like, select specific users, okay, if I wanted to run something. But I'm just going to hit submit because I want the whole class. I want to see everyone and the statistics tracking for this document. Running the reports takes a little bit of time in Blackboard. I apologize. And then as soon as this is done, it's going to open a separate downloaded file, okay, either a PDF or an Excel. Okay, and you can see now I have this Excel file, and when I open up the Excel file, I have some information here, okay? It gives me the name, gives me the total number of views, and it also shows the hours of the day, right? What time it was, and what time students are accessing that file, okay? So it does help you break down the days of the week and the time of day that they are looking at that content. So this is interesting to see the behavior of our students, right? And when they're accessing these different files, okay? Great question. Okay, so now we've got 15 minutes left, so I'm just going to jump into any content area because I just want to show you, we talked about how to share content, but I just want to show you quickly how to add a Go React assignment and also how to add a discussion board, okay? So now that we've created a Start Here section, we've oriented our students to the course, you know, we've created folders, right? Let's do that very quickly. So if I'm in test materials and I click Build Content, there's an option to the right called Content Folder. Okay, this is the most popular use of how to organize content, and it's the one that I would suggest using because our students are most familiar with it. Okay, module pages don't necessarily work all the time. You can't add a bunch of content there, so I like folders. Okay, so now I can put week 1. You can either decide to split this up by weeks or by modules. Okay, a weekly folder would be weeks 1 through 16, and everything is added by pretty much due date, right? So inside of week 1, this is what you're reading in week 1, this is what you're doing in week 1, these are the assignments that are due, okay? You can also do this by module if you'd like, and a module is something that might run longer than a week. I might say module 1 is an introduction to online teaching and learning. That means that my students would go into module 1, and that might be 3 weeks long, right? We might spend 3 weeks on this subject. So modules are more for grouping by topic and weeks are more for grouping by date, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and click submit. And then again, all my new content goes to the very bottom of my course. Now here's my week 1 folder, okay? So now I can click into week 1, and here's where I'm gonna add all of my content for my student, the readings, the videos, all of that good stuff, okay? And so now let's say that I've added an item and I've got my readings and my to-do list here, but now I want to add links to content or to activities, I'm sorry. So I want to link to the homework, I want to link to those type of activities, okay? So let's say that week 1, I want them to introduce themselves. So I want them to make a video of them introducing themselves. When you click Build Content, there is an option right here. There's also an option for embedding a quiz. So if you create videos, you can add a quiz to that using Panopto quizzing. But one of my options is also Go React. Okay, Go React is going to allow the student to create their own video and allow me to grade it all within Blackboard. They don't have to go to Zoom. They don't have to go to a different tool. They're able to use this tool directly inside of the course. Okay, so I'm going to add a Go React link to my class. Okay, so I'm going to call this Introduce Yourself. Okay, when I scroll down, the biggest thing that I want to remember, and I usually forget this, is to click on Enable Evaluation. Okay, when I click yes, what that does is it automatically creates a grade center column in my gradebook. So it's very important because my students can then follow along and know what their grade is for each individual assignment. Okay, so I'm going to put this is going to be 100 points. So enable evaluation, yes. add the total number of points, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click submit. And there we go, I have my link. Everything that I add to my Blackboard course, I need to actually go and set up if it's a third-party tool. A third-party tool means it's not native to Blackboard, right? This is a Go React assignment. So I've created my Blackboard Grade Center, but now I need to click on this link as an instructor and set up the assignment inside of Go React, okay? So you can see I am now inside of Go React, right? This is the Go React platform. I can see the title of my option or my assignment. And then under Create New Assignment, I'm going to use this drop-down arrow, and there are 3 types of assignments that I can do. One is standard, where my students will create a video on their own. They will simply press record, and it will either record their face and or their screen. They're able to share their screen, and so if you want them to do a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that, they can create a video. A stimulus assignment, this is very interesting because this tool was created by an ASL instructor, right? And so what the purpose of stimulus is it records the student watching a piece of media. So let's say I have a video that I want them to watch, and then I want them to sign what's happening on the screen. They can do that using the stimulus activity. So they would be translating in ASL what is happening and what they're watching on the screen, okay? So stimulus is just going to record the student watching a video, okay? And then your other option is comment only. This is what we would use in place of VoiceThread. This is something where if you wanted to create a video or you wanted to share a YouTube video, either one, maybe you wanted to create a lecture video, you can click comment only. And what that means is the students can go into the video and they can comment on the video you've created or that you've shared. The reason that's really helpful is maybe you want to make an introduction video and maybe the students can ask their questions directly in the video, right? It timestamps it there. Or maybe you want to share some content and have them react, right? Comment only is just going to allow them to provide comments to a video that you've provided them, okay? So I'm going to choose standard because I want my students to create their own video. So I click standard, and then in the right-hand corner, there's a red next button. So I'll click next. And then I have some more options here, okay? Recording and feedback privacy. This allows you to create an open peer review that would mimic a discussion board, meaning every student's video is visible to other students, as well as the commenting that is occurring. Okay, students can go in and watch each other's video and make comments, and so this allows everyone to see everyone's comment. If I clicked close peer review, that means everyone can see each other's video, but they're not able to see the comments that students have left, okay? So that's really important if you want to do a real live peer review. What's important about that is the instructor sees the comments, the student providing the comments obviously sees the comments, and the student who owns the video sees that feedback, but only those 3 roles see what's happening, okay? And I could do private, which means no one can see each other's video and no one can comment on each other's video. So that would be really helpful if you had a journal assignment or something that was more reflective, that you wanted to have the student kind of talk to you about what's going on in a way that is safe, right? Nobody else is going to see that. So those are your options when it comes to creating a video and sharing with the class. So I'm going to say open peer review for this assignment. And then the last piece I need to do is make sure that it's graded, right? Not graded if you don't want to assign points, you don't have to, but you can click on points and I can add that 100 points that I added to the gradebook, right? You just want to make sure whatever points you put in Blackboard also gets put inside of Go React, okay? And then the last thing I want to show you is if this is a group assignment, if you want your students to create a group video that gets everyone in the same room and shares that, you'll click multiple cameras. Okay, all that's going to do is make sure that more than one student can record together. Okay, any questions about what I just went over before I submit? Nope? Okay, pretty clear. So I'll click done. And now as a faculty member, I can see the recordings here. I can see my instructions, right? There's no instructions here. And as my student starts to submit, this is where they will show up, okay, right over here. So I just want to show you quickly how to submit or how to create a Go React assignment if you're interested in your students using video, okay? If not, ignore everything I said. And what I want to show you next is under Tools, okay? Tools is a very powerful tool. There's a lot of options in here. I can add more Zoom links. I can do a lot of different things in here, okay? But what I want to show you is discussion boards. Can students upload PowerPoint or videos to Go React? Yes, Benjamin. If they do not want to create the recording in Go React, they can use a different tool and upload that. And if they have a PowerPoint, what they would do is share the screen. Okay, so they'd share their screen, and that means that it records the PowerPoint slides, and they can also upload a copy to you so that you can see the slides. Great question. Michelle, where are the recordings in BB or Go React? Great question. So the recordings do stay inside of Go React. Let me just show you that quickly. That's why I have this course open. Okay. So what you would do is you would come in here, and the videos show up right here on the left-hand side. So you can see the video here. You can see the students that created this video, right? You can see the score that they got. And if I click on the video,
hi, Sharon.
You can see this is a group video. So 2 of my students were together. It's me and my coworker. We were together here. And you can see this is where the comments will appear, okay? So if I click play.
Girl. Hi, Monica.
This is just a demo. Okay, so if you noticed, as soon as I started typing, it paused the video, right? Which is really nice. And then you can see 2 seconds, here is my comment right here. So when the students are watching the feedback or the playback of the video, your comments come up at that exact time. So it's really nice to be able to give them feedback on their video that's time-stamped in there, okay? Good question. Okay. So if I want to create a discussion board, just quickly, you'll go under Tools and you'll click on Discussion Board, okay? So I'm able to link to something that I've already created, but I'm just going to create a new forum. Let's pretend I just need to create something brand new. And a forum, a discussion forum, is going to allow my students to see each other's post. So it's a little bit, it's very helpful for students to be able to give them peer feedback or to be able to share content with each other, okay? That's the only difference between creating a discussion board worth points and an assignment worth points. An assignment in Blackboard is gonna be just between you and the student, maybe like a paper, and then a discussion board is gonna be a place where they can still post papers, PowerPoints, anything like that, but it's going to allow students to be able to see each other's projects. That's the only difference, okay? So I'm gonna say this is my week 1 discussion board. And I'm going to add my prompt here, okay? And then when I scroll down, I just wanted to quickly show you that there is a standard view, and that just means the students create their own post. Pretty simple. There is an option, however, if you're worried about academic dishonesty, where you can click on participants must create a thread in order to view others. What that means is when the students come in, they can't see anyone's post until they have crafted their own post. So this cuts down on, sometimes students might regurgitate what others have said, right? And so this allows the student to post their original thought first. And as soon as they click post, then everyone else's responses are listed for them to see and be able to reply to, okay? So that's just a neat trick if you want to see students' kind of original thought on something, okay? I'm going to scroll down. Here's where I can add grading. You don't have to do this, but again, if I click grade discussion forum, I've now automatically created a grade center column in my course. So I can then make this 10 points, and then there will be a grade center column where I can go in and grade all of my students' posts. And the reason this is powerful is because now when I'm in the grading area, it shows me the students' reply as well as all the replies to other students. So it aggregates one student's content in the entire forum for me to see in one place. So I like that. I can scroll down here. Here's where I can add a due date, right? Every single due date you add automatically gets put into the Blackboard calendar inside of your course. So the students, when they click on the calendar feature, they're able to see the due dates for the entire course, okay? That only works with due dates, not with availability dates. I can also add a rubric here, right? I can create a rubric from scratch if I'd like, or I can use a rubric maybe from the rubrics library, okay? And then I'll scroll down. The only thing I want to note is that you can turn on an optional feature here that allows members to rate a post, okay? What that's gonna do is just give them 5 stars, and the students can click on the amount of stars for each person's post, okay? So that's just another way to provide feedback if you'd like. When I click submit, it's now gonna say, okay, Monica, you created your forum. Now you want a link to it, right? I'm gonna say yes, so here's my forum, it's highlighted. And then when I click the next button, what this is doing, I've created my forum. Now this is creating a link directly in week 1. So my students don't have to go to the discussion board. They can just click on the link straight from the folder, okay? So maybe I will add my prompt here again, okay? Make sure it's available. Maybe I want to track the views on this as well. And then I'll click submit. And now what you'll see is here is a link directly to the discussion board, okay? So it's really powerful because my students, again, they don't have to go anywhere. They can literally just click on this. And when they click on this link, they're brought directly to the forum, okay? There is another way to access what I just did, which is on the left-hand side using your discussion board link. If I click discussion board, now I'm viewing all of the discussion boards for my entire class. Okay, so all I did was show you how to embed that content into that weekly folder. But if you want to see all the prompts that you have for the whole discussion board, you can just click on discussion board from your navigation menu, and you'll see all of the different forums that you have in your course. Yes, Michelle, peers can comment on video posted in GoReact as well, absolutely. But you just want to make sure that your privacy setting is set to public, okay, so that everyone can see each other's. Great question. Okay, y'all, it's 12:02. I don't want to take too much of your time. Does anyone have any questions about what we've seen and or wants to see something else? Because I know I didn't get to wikis and things like that, but please let me know if there's something specific that you'd like to see. Michelle, when should we put open close dates as compared to leaving them blank? Great question. Open and close dates, the only thing you want to know about availability dates, right? So let's say I click assessments and I'm going to make just an assignment, right? Just so my students can submit a paper, okay? When I scroll down, the due date is going to allow students to submit late, okay? So that means that it's going to highlight it red and say this student has submitted it 10 hours late, okay? If I scroll down and I use availability dates instead, what's gonna happen is the link to this assignment will vanish completely. So they will not be able to submit late at all. So that's the difference between due date that allows you to submit late, availability dates do not, okay? So availability dates means hard stop, no one can see it. You also have to keep in mind if you turn on availability dates and it takes it away from the student, they're no longer allowed to see their submission. So that's another part. They're able to see the feedback, right? But they can't necessarily see what they have submitted. So that's the only caveat with availability dates. Great question. Okay, yeah, you want to see Padlet? Perfect. Okay, so for those of you that need to jump off, please feel free to. This is being recorded and I can send the recording. If y'all want to hang out, I'm going to show Padlet next. Okay, so I'll hit submit here. Oops, points possible, right? Make sure you add points to your assignment. And then I'll click submit. And just so y'all know, this is what a assignment looks like. Okay, so you're able to click in here and the students can submit their assignments. Okay, so that, again, this is just a place to share content with just the instructor. And this also shows up in the Grade Center. Okay, so just quickly, if we're talking about Padlet, okay, what you'll need to do, the first step for getting a Padlet account is you need to email bvhelp@csueastbay.edu. Okay, I just put that in the chat. You must email them to get a faculty account. And what that looks like, what I mean by that, right? What does that mean, Monica? If I click on csueb.padlet.org, okay, this is our website for the entire school, okay? I'm gonna put this also in the chat. So once you have an instructor account, you can come in and log into this website. And this is where you create your Padlet. Okay, so step 1 is creating the Padlet. So once I'm in my CSU East Bay account, I'll click Make a Padlet. Now, this is where there's a lot of options when it comes to how you want to set this up, okay? A wall is going to give you the same look and feel as almost a discussion board, right? You can also do a canvas. This I used for creating mind maps for my students because they're able to create different arrows and show me what their thought process is. I can also create a shelf. This is really powerful for groups. Maybe if I use shelf, I can say group 1, group 2, group 3, and then they all post within a column. You see these little columns that it creates, okay? You can also create a timeline. So there's a lot of options in here, but I'm just gonna show you one that you would do if you wanted to create almost like a discussion board, okay? So I'm gonna select wall as my option. When I click select, it's going to automatically open a modify panel on the right-hand side. And I can change the title to introduce yourself. I can add a description. Okay. I can change the appearance. Maybe I don't want this color. We've got some options. We've got a lot of options in here, right? Maybe I want to make it Christmas. I can add my own picture, okay? There's a lot of options. Color scheme, font, right? Attribution, I want to make sure this is turned on. This will allow my students' names to be shown above their post. Okay, so I kind of like to be able to see who's writing what. So I turn attribution on. There's an option to post new position post, right? What that means is the new posts are going to go to the top. If you don't like that, you can choose last, and the new post will go to the bottom. That's all that means, okay? Here's where I can turn on the comments, and I want to do that so that students can comment on each other's post. Again, I want to create almost like a discussion board. And so there's where I can turn on the commenting feature where students can comment back to each other, okay? There's also some options if you're worried about, profanity. You can replace bad words with emojis, right? You can also require approval in case you're worried about, who's posting. But again, if you integrate this into Blackboard, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Once you're done creating or modifying your post, there's a pink next button. So on the right-hand corner, I'll click next, and it tells me I'm all set, okay? So I can see that here is my wall, and then the students will press this plus sign button, and it will create a tile for them, okay? So they can create a title, so okay, and then they can author a post directly in here. And then what's nice is if I click these 3 little dots, these are all of my options that students can do. They can upload a picture. They can snap a photo with their camera. They can create a voice recording. They can record their screen, right? Another option to Go React is just to have them use Padlet. It will let them, record their screen and then automatically upload it to Padlet. They could draw. They could place a location if I wanted them to go out into the community and maybe create a Padlet post about Parks and Rec. They can add a location as to where they visited. So this is a really powerful tool because they're able to do so many things directly inside of Padlet, okay? And then what's nice is you'll be able to see everyone's post right across the page, okay? Very quickly, there's an option to share, okay? And there's an option where I can save this as an image, as a PDF, as a CSV. And if I export it as a CSV, it's going to show me how many times each student posted, what time it was when they posted, right? So if you're worried about grading, you can use the CSV to track that, okay? I'm not going to go into detail about how to embed it because it's a few steps, so I'm not going to lie. You have to click on Add LMS as an external tool, okay? And you have to copy and paste each one of these, the URL, the customer key, the secret key. So you will get a how-to document on how to do all of that part, okay? Because each one of these needs to be copied into Blackboard so that the student's name appears on the post. They don't have to create their own accounts this way. So it's a lot easier for them to just go click on the link in Padlet, and then automatically Padlet creates the account for them. That's why we have to copy this link and this link and this link and this link. Okay, it's a lot of copying and pasting, but again, you will receive a document that shows you step by step how to share it inside of Blackboard. Okay, any questions about what I just showed? I know it's a lot. Okay, great. So I'm going to stop here just because, again, I want to be cognizant of the time. I know it's already 10 after, but please feel free to email me if you have any questions. If you need any documentation that is not provided in the slides, please let me know. But again, you will have how-to directions on how to do everything that we showed inside of the PowerPoint that I send you. Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate it. Last plug, if you have any questions, we are holding virtual office hours Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Okay. And what's great about that is that you can just drop in. If you have any questions, if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, or you want to bounce some ideas off of someone, the Zoom link that I just pasted into this chat is how you will get to our virtual office hours. And we'll be there all week. So you can just jump in, and then you will be paired with a designer who can take you step by step through anything that we reviewed.
Yes, David here. I just wanted to say, I asked about office hours because sometimes I have questions and I type up an email, and I prefer to do a video with an interpreter. So I'd like to be able to link with an interpreter when I do that. Is that possible?
Unfortunately, no, because all interpreters need to be booked ahead of time, right? Thank you, Lisa, so much for jumping on today. But we want to make sure that we are able to get the interpreter beforehand because they're not necessarily on call. Great question.
I see.
Sorry.
Okay. That's all right. No problem. I just wanted to make sure. So I could maybe contact them a day in advance if I have a question. And would that be okay? Or do you have to know a couple days in advance, or?
Yeah, we'd like about 24 to 48 hours. And so if you have a day that you know you're free, email me and I can email interpreting and make sure that we are prepared.
Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you all
good.
so much for coming. I appreciate it. Make sure you copy the Zoom link in the chat just so if you have any questions, you can jump into office hours, okay? Thank you so much, Michelle. Thanks, Benjamin. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. Stop.